Okay, so I need to get this out so that I can get right back to the grind because they just gave us a ton of resources. But I wanted to go ahead and give my post week one sort of review of Wuthering Waves. The game, like, if I had to narrow it down to just one single sentence, this game is quite excellent. I honestly haven't really discovered that many issues. It's been very fun all around. Combat has been super fun. Very snappy, very quick. The traversal has been excellent. If I had one complaint, it'd be the fact that I can't tie the grapple to just like a permanent keybind. I have to like share it with other things in the in the toolbar here. But aside from that, traversal has been generally pretty good. No real complaints. The map has been very, very beautiful. I'm very, very impressed with a lot of the locales and whatnot. There's like that one like poison swamp area. There's that valley area with a giant statue off in the distance. The cherry blossom area. It's nice, just regular city area.
It's time.
All around the map has been very, very good. Let's see what else to talk about. I should probably address the elephant in the room of the story. The story was very not good in a lot of ways, but also very good in some others. Basically, the very beginning of it, all the way up to let's see, where would be a good point to say that it started getting good. Basically, from the beginning up to I'd say probably around Scar's appearance, was not good, like, at all. And it's very unfortunate because I do think the later half of the main story, at least of 1.0, is actually pretty good. It's actually pretty entertaining. I really like the general concept of like the war against the Thrunodian. It was very cool. But earlier on, if you ask me, the biggest detriment of it is definitely the voice acting. Like, especially Yang Yang, her voice actress. I'm sure it has nothing to do with the actual actress herself. Probably more to do with the direction. But I swear to God, everything she did felt like she was falling asleep, like, the whole time. There could be like a man dying in front of her, and she sounds like she's ready to tuck in for a nap. Like, she doesn't change the entire storyline. Very monotone and lifeless sounding, and I really did not like it. Chisha sounded like very artificial and like robot-like, I guess. Like her lines were like AI generated or something. It's really hard to describe, but generally just not very good. I think there were some standout performances in the form of like Gian, Scar, I think, oh, what was her name? Camellia, something like that. That Camellia was pretty fun. I liked her character. There were a couple of standouts who stood out for the wrong reason, but standouts nonetheless. Let's see. What else did I want to talk about? Oh, as far as like the combat is concerned, something I really, really liked was, or continue to like, is the echo system. Basically, if you don't know, echoes are basically these this game's version of like Pokemon, or I guess maybe you can even say like pals from Pal World, that you could just endlessly farm them for materials and, more importantly, to catch them in a way. If you kill monsters in the overworld, they have a chance of dropping their echo, which you can then grab and equip yourself to get a variety of different effects and stat boosts and whatnot. And the important part about it is the fact that you can just endlessly farm. Like, I can just go out right now and just start finding monsters in the overworld to fight. And I will, over time, accumulate more echoes to increase my overall account, to basically improve my characters. It's really nice. It's this game's versions of like relics or echo or artifacts. Pretty good. Combat feels very fluid. I enjoy the way a lot of it works, like the outro skills. I enjoy the Forte, I believe it's called. Let me look at this. Yes, the Forte circuit. A lot of characters have really interesting Forte circuits. Ultimates in this game, they're called Liberations. Most of them feel pretty good. I think I'm going to do a separate character discussion, discussing what characters I think are good, what characters are bad. I'll probably do it in a tier list format. That's going to be for a later date, probably after Yinland comes out. But I'm slowly working my way up through the game, building up my characters. It's a slow process. It's a slow burn, but I'll get there eventually. Don't look at that. That's ugly. Let's see. What else I want to talk about? The game has... So I don't want to just endlessly praise it, because I think there are some issues. But at the same time, to my knowledge, Kuro Games is working on fixing those exact issues, like, as we speak. So it's a bit hard for me to want to say, like, oh, this issue is terrible, so on and so forth. But I think an example of an issue that I think they're working on, and I hope they do fix it, is basically lock-on. There's some really bad, like, lock-on issues in this game where basically sometimes if you're in lock-on already and you say kill something, if there are some enemies like outside your current battle but relatively nearby, the lock-on will just jump on over to them, completely separate from the enemies that you're still fighting. And there's like some cases where the camera doesn't like center your vision around the enemy you're locked in onto very well. If I find some footage for it, I'll try to bring it up. But generally, I just don't really like the lock-on right now. It feels a little, I don't know, clunky and weird at times. Oh, I'm in a bubble now. What did I get? What did I get? Oh, that's just a 4-star. But all around, it still feels pretty good to play just in general. I personally haven't had too many issues with basically just general performance or server issues or anything like that. I have had times where there's major spikes, but nothing too serious in my opinion, because I just know that like they've been pretty good about, you know, fixing any issues that have been showing up in the game. While I'm looking at one right now, I guess I might as well talk about it. The puzzles in this game are very... they're just solid. That's really all I can say about it. There's nothing particularly good or bad about them. At the end of the day, they're puzzles in an open world game. Very rarely are you ever going to find puzzles in an open world game like this that are actually like so good that you want to do each and every one. They're a chore, so that's that, you know. Let me fight this bear real quick. Anyway, I did that. Let's see. Something else I should talk about is like the music. I feel like that's an important thing to go ahead and just discuss. The music has been mostly forgettable, but I don't think it's bad necessarily. It's just nothing as like iconic as what you might find in something like Genshin Impact or Honkai Star Rail. But it's been solid too. Let's see. I should probably go ahead and address something that came out earlier today at the time of recording this. Basically, Kuro Games released a announcement that they are going to basically fix a lot of the issues that have been cropping up, and providing us all sorts of compensation, which is why I kind of want to get back to farming. Among other things, they gave us 20 of the crystal solvents, which, in case you don't know, that is these things. Basically, you consume one to get 60 wave plates, and basically it equals to tons of stamina to allow you to just farm all kinds of different things. But on top of that, they also gave some wishes. Let me look it over. I believe they gave 10 wishes. I have 50 now, but don't worry about that. They gave 5 for the weapon banner. I don't think they gave any standard ones yet. They gave 10 of the... what's it called again? Of the Radiant Tides, 5 of the Forging Tides. supposedly relatively soon they're going to give out 1 million of the shell credits, the in-game currency. That's gonna be really nice. But among the things that they said they were going to bring up, you know, I might just make like a quick little list on screen of the different things that they were going to implement into the game, rather than try to list it all from like a script or memory or anything like that. Point is that they are implementing a lot of changes, all really good, and generally the game just feels really good to play. Like, don't really have a ton of complaints. I mean, any complaints I could give this game, I could give right back to like games like Genshin Impact, and I feel like if you're okay with that kind of game, you kind of have to be okay with this kind of game, because they're pretty similar in a lot of little ways. So I'm not gonna be sitting here like, oh, rules for thee but not for me, and say that, oh, Genshin's perfect while this one is terrible just because it has some issues. If I had to pick between the two games, I would just say I prefer Wuthering Waves, because it's just generally like across the board better. Like, I could think of things that like Genshin Impact needed to change like day one, and they still never addressed. Curl Games, on the other hand, with this game, with Wuthering Waves, is constantly addressing their issues and constantly trying to make their players happy and just listen to their audience. And it just feels great. So I would say in general, at the very least, the company treatment of its players feels way better from Curl Games than it does from Hoyoverse. At least for this game versus Genshin Impact. I still say Honkai Star Rail is probably better overall amongst like, I guess you say like the current like big three major discussion gacha games right now, being that of Genshin Impact, Honkai Star Rail, and Wuthering Waves. I would still say Honkai Star Rail is probably better than both of them, but I think I put Wuthering Waves at second place right after that, because it just does have a lot of really good features in it that are just impossible to ignore when talking about how good quality this game is. But you know, if we're talking about the differences between the two games, between Wuthering Waves and Genshin Impact, that is, I think it's really important to discuss some very specific features, or at least one specific feature this game has that Hoyoverse games do not have, and that is the skip button. Having a skip button feels so good so often. I swear to God, I've gotten through dozens of this game's quests in such a short amount of time because the skip button exists. Because if you ask me, you should have, if you don't want to listen to the trash side quests, you should have the option to just skip. If I don't want to have to listen to the event storyline that no one gives a damn about, you should be able to skip it. And Wuthering Waves lets you skip it. And if you ask me, that alone automatically puts this game's story and the way it handles its quests far above Genshin Impact, and it's not even close. Genshin Impact, you can't skip anything. You have to mainly get through every individual piece of dialogue. And because it doesn't load it that fast, you kind of, even if you just spam left click, you still kind of have to wait sometimes for the game to finish loading. Like, you just cannot skip in that game. And after playing this game, I don't think I can go back. I just can't. That's the same with traversal. This game, its traversal is so much better than Genshin Impact. I honestly don't think I could ever go back to Genshin Impact again. That's how I feel about some of the changes in this game. That's like just a straight up direct improvement in a lot of little ways. If there's another issue I'd have with this game, it'd probably be, again, this is something that they're going to address, that they already said they're going to address. It would be the rewards for daily farming. It feels really minimal, but at the same time, I'm only at Union level 35, you know? So at higher Union levels, I'm not sure what the actual max is, but I'm going to assume at least 60. I assume at higher levels, you should be able to get more rewards. But I'm not going to be at Union level 60 for a good long time. So having so few rewards now to build your characters now definitely doesn't feel very good. But like I said, it's not fair to judge them for it right now, because they have already announced they're going to work on that to try to adjust how much rewards you get for spending your wave plates. to make it overall better and more rewarding for the player. So it's hard to come up with issues for this game because the company's already said that they're working on it to try to fix it. Like 1 week into the game's lifespan, and they're already working on some of the biggest changes that people really want. So it feels pretty good. It feels great, and it makes you want to support the game. It makes you want to spend money on the game, even though they're already giving you a ton of resources. Like, I'm fully free to play, and I've already gotten to like 65 pity on this banner without getting to the 5-star. I spent a bunch of wishes on the beginner banners. I spent a bunch of wishes on sword banner and standard banner. Yes, spent 45 on that. Yeah, let's see, 35 on that. I think I even spent some here, I think. 10 there. At least 65 for this one. 65. I have 50 still there, and at least another 10 right there. So, point is that they're giving you a lot of wishes, and I already have quite a few characters that multiple I'm not sure what this game's version of this is called. I'm gonna call them Eidolons. I already got multiple Eidolons for multiple characters. Let's see, give me a good example. Main character, you're pretty much given that one for free. Sanwa, I got her to I think it's called sequences. S2, him S3, Mortefi. Oh, I thought I heard S1, maybe not. He's at S1, S1, S2. Alright, I just got it. Point is, I have a lot of characters now. All of them are pretty much really fun to use. I've only built maybe half of them. I haven't really touched Alto, Haochi, Tisha, Yuanwu, and I've slightly dabbled in Dungeon, but that's pretty much it. Those are the only characters I haven't really messed with yet. All these other characters are really good, really fun. I've really enjoyed them. I do think Baiji's a little clunky, but it's not a huge deal. Point is, it's been really fun, and I'm going to keep playing it because I think the game kind of deserves to have an audience with how just generally good it's been making everything feel for like the player, for the gameplay, etc, etc. Just really, really good. I'm glad I didn't actually get Jian, because in my last video I said I was gonna try to wait for Yinlin. And thankfully she's coming out sooner, so hopefully I won't be tempted before then, and we'll just wait. But let's see, anything else I want to talk about? Oh, endgame modes. Wait, hang on. I need to start this quest. Skip. God, that feels good. Thank you, Kuro, for letting me skip the boring ass side quest. You are a saint. But anyway, endgame modes. I have slightly gone into the tower adversity. Haven't made it very far yet. That's fine. I'm gonna take my time with that. It's basically just Spiral Abyss, but a little bit different in that it has like its own built-in like stamina system, so you kind of need to like work around that. That's interesting, but other than that, it's basically just Spiral Abyss, as far as I can tell. The other thing they have in this game is the Elusive Realm, and I gotta be honest, I hope they make this like harder, because I haven't really struggled with it like at all, especially since they've given you trial characters to use for the earlier levels. I haven't really looked at the last one, but I don't think they give you trial characters, so hopefully that one's a lot harder. Let me look at this. Yes, no trial characters, so that one should be a lot harder, which is good. I want it to be a lot harder. I don't want it to just hand me the victory. So I look forward to trying that on eventually. Let's see. Any other endgame type modes? Holograms, I think I've beaten one. Other than that, they've been just a little too hard for me right now. Was it the bird? Oh no, it was the Tempest Memphis. I beat the first difficulty of that. those are good too. I like just having a challenge of sorts to work towards. All the bosses in this game, I actually do feel like they have some semblance of like challenge to them. Of like, it feels kind of like you need some semblance of mechanical skill to like reliably beat them without having to worry about, you know, taking too much damage or anything like that. I mean, obviously for overworld bosses, they're always going to be like a little bit easier than like Tower Adversity bosses or anything like that. But they all feel very, very good. And a lot of them kind of remind me of like Dark Souls type bosses in terms of like overall design. Which, if you ask me, is like really impressive if they can get you to do that. If a developer can get you to think, oh, this kind of reminds me of Dark Souls. Like the series that's like known for awesome boss fights. Very, very good. I really like the Dreamless boss fight. That was like the end of like the main story. You unlock this boss, and it was very, very cool. Has like the best echo skill in the game, arguably. Very nice. Let's see. If I had to like rate my overall experience with 1.0 as of like right now, it would probably be like a 9 or 10 out of 10, just in general, at least for gacha games. If I had to compare it to like something like Elder Ring, it'd obviously be a lot worse, but for a gacha game, this is probably one of the best ones I think I've ever played, if not the best one. The only competition I could think of would be Honkai Star Rail. So yeah, all around, very, very good. I look forward to continue playing. You could look forward to seeing my character tier list that I'll probably come up with after Yinland comes out. And thank you for watching.